Good morning, everyone. Welcome to what feels like 10:30 a.m. The clocks have changed. Okay, everyone. Yeah, cool. Okay. Just wait for everyone to join. Just say thumbs up or whatever you do. Cool thing, or just say yes, you can see and hear me. That would be great. Thank you. My beautiful I love you cup of tea. Fire the questions in, please. Anything that's happened this week, this preceding week, thank you, that you need help with. I've got a bit of a cold. I think I picked it up from Nigel Moss on the weekend, or maybe Tim. You never know. The koala's on. Good. Good. Fire the questions in. Now, I don't know if you're into Formula One or anything like that. But I like a bit of Formula One. I don't watch it live. I record it and then watch it. And there was one thing that resonated really with Lewis Hamilton on the weekend, and he won his 4th world title. Love or hate him, he's won his 4th world title, the greatest British driver of all time when it comes to numbers. And I can't find it. I'm not going to bother keep looking for it. But they got a hold of him at the end, and they didn't say, what would you like to say about it? How do you feel? What does this mean to you, Lewis? And he turned around and he said, I can't believe it. He had his head in his hands type of thing. And you can only imagine the joy of winning something like that. Not the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, but this is one his 4th. And you can only imagine how it feels to 4 times be the best at what you do in the world. And then he spoke about, and he ran away from the people as soon as he could to get back to the team that supported him. He's pretty fit. This dude ran, man. You watch people that were falling over. All the Mexicans were falling over. But this guy, I admire him for what he's about. And that is that he never, ever gives up no matter what. He gets slayed to the bit in the press. A lot of people, he's got his fans. Everyone's got their lovers. Everyone's got their haters, right? We all have that no matter what. And if you don't think you have haters somewhere, then have more of a look around. But don't worry about the haters. And he said, he looked into the camera and he said, guys, whatever you do in life, don't ever give up on something that you have is such a big dream. And that resonates with me, because if you give up, you're not gonna know how far you've got before you actually got successful. So some people go, we always talk about the stage, 1st stage, 2nd stage, 3rd stage, and 4th stage of learning. And you guys, you're all over the 1st stage. You've finished the 1st stage, which is you don't know what you don't know. Now you do know. You know a lot about service accommodation. There are new people on here who know much less, but they will know more once they get a deal. And you only really know a lot about service accommodation once you get a deal. But I know so many people out there, or know of so many people who chase it and don't ever get a deal, and they give up. And yet they were so close to getting a deal. If you ask a salesman in a big corporate company, they only need 6 or 7. I'm talking big ticket stuff, 6 or 7 deals a year to earn a couple of $100,000 a year. And yet many of them, I think, I was a sales director once, and I know lots of people who are sales directors and MDs and CEOs of companies and that type of thing. And they said, look, I said, I said to them a couple of months ago, what's the average stay for your salespeople? And they all say about 12 months. And I said, 12 months, really? He said, yeah, we get the odd one or two out of a team of 10 or 15 that have been here for much longer, 2 years, 3 years, etc. And what happens is these are the guys who work really hard, to get, as we said on the weekend, to get the rocket ship off the ground, you've got to have a massive tank of fuel, massive thrust, rockets. But once it gets into space, it's like, it's almost kind of like you don't relax, but you just like a sigh of relief. And that's kind of what Lewis Hamilton had when you watched him when he went over that line. He didn't win the race. He was way back because he got fucking rammed by his mate, Mr. Vettel. And he sort of did this. And it wasn't that he couldn't believe that he's done it, because he's believed that he can do it all the way through. What it was is it's that relief of the stress and the hard work you put in, and you just go like, yes, it's all been worth it. And that's why the thing that he spoke about was never giving up. He didn't speak about anything else. Wow, I'm going to go and buy a Ferrari. I'm going to go and buy this. I'm going to go and buy that. He didn't talk about any of those things. He didn't say, I've got a massive house. I've got this house. I've got that house. He didn't say about that. Everyone knows he's got his jet. But he didn't talk about those things. The thing that he spoke about was never giving up. He's just a normal guy from normal background for most people. And his dad also never gave up on him. And I think that's awesome. You've got to have, and he ran to the team that have supported him. Without that team, he has no car. He has no career. He cannot drive a car. So he does the best at what he can. And when we're talking about joint venture partners, if you're one of two or one of three or one of four, you've got to do the best thing that you can, that you were brought into that partnership for. And, people, you look at marriage the same. And I spoke to my wife about it after that. And I said, marriage is not just about being one, is it? It's about being two people who come together for the same goals, if you like. I mean, my wife has very, very different goals to what I have in her professional life, because it's totally different. But, when we need to come together, we come together. And, for the kids or whatever it is, we talk about, okay, what are we going to do for the kids? What are we going to go to school? What are we going to do this? What are we going to do for holidays this year? And we do what we do to support them. But I'll tell you what, once they hit 21 or whatever age it is that they go out and they can work, they're on their own. We no longer support them, because your journey is about you. And if you're married, it's about you and your wife. And when those kids are gone, you no longer have to take care of those kids. They take care of themselves. You support them here and here. And when they fall, you still help them get up. But you need to let them try to get up first, if you understand what I mean. They need to know first. And my kids are very young now. And, I've just started introducing money into my son's life, because you go into shops and it's kind of like, I've got a fire engine. I want this. Can we buy this? Can we buy this? He knows that you've got to buy it. You can't just take it. So he understands that. And I said to him, how much is it? It's got like a 3 and a 5, £35. Okay, £35. How much money do you have in your pocket, William? I don't have any. Okay, you need to find some money. The way you're going to find money, you need to earn it. So now we've got him not working in the business, but there's different ways that they can earn money, whether it's behavior or whether it's cleaning up the kids' room or cleaning up the adults' room, or, all of those things. So starting to put into his head things about discipline. And it's so much easier knowing that we can not bribe him, but he knows that he can have what he wants if he does the right thing, and he earns it. And this weekend, totally different kid. It's amazing. And he's doing such a good job. And I'm really proud of him. And my daughter's watching. My daughter's younger. She's watching. And then she came up to me and she said, "How can I earn money so I can buy a horse seat, Daddy?" Okay, cool. So here we go. So their dreams are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So they now know in a roundabout way that they've got to do something to get something, and that's what we're about. And it won't just fall into your hands. You've got to go out there and get it. There's a couple of you stressing because you've just taken on apartments and oh, where are my bookings? Where are my bookings? Well, you know, it doesn't ramp up immediately. You've got to get your bookings in. You've got to get those in, and you've got to think about it. Right, this is a business, so you think to yourself, right, I've got a business here. Imagine if you opened up a bloody sweet shop or something, and you just sat there all day like this. You go home, come back in the morning. Go home, come back in the morning. You know the story, right? For the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, 6 months, no one comes in. You're going to get zero. You're going to be broke. You've got to open up your imagination and you've got to think about, how am I going to get people in the door? A restaurant, how do you get people in the door? You've got to tell people about it. And with us, what we've got to do is we get onto the channels, the OTAs, and it's fantastic. And they do all the marketing for us. But you've got to make sure that you do the right marketing. I mean, when I first started, I dabbled with booking.com and I went, okay, let's try an extra 20%, let's try 30%. You can up the commissions and that type of thing so you can get your bookings in. But more importantly, with your bookings, you get the good reviews. I mean, Sam is doing an awesome job in Slough. One of his, I read it out on the weekend, one of his reviews, I think I posted it anyway so you can see it. It's probably the best review I've ever seen. And it almost reads back to the systems that we put in place about location. They talk about location. They talk about, you know, him being a great guest, nothing being too much, easy to get a hold of. The property was great. It's well furnished. It's nice and modern. There was parking. It was secure. It felt secure. There was CCTV. There were security locks, all sorts of stuff. And it was absolutely brilliant to see and hear this. So, and I said to Sam, you know, why do you think you got those reviews? He said, just following the systems, just doing exactly what you tell us. So please don't stray away from the railway track because you'll derail or you'll bloody hit something and it will hurt. So hopefully that helps a bit. Okay, so let's have a look. Right, questions. Agent wants my full bank statements so they can all see my spending. Is that kosher? I don't think they need to see your spending. It's not the agents who need to see it anyway. It's the people who do the background checks. But yes, I mean, we've provided bank statements. There's not a problem. If they definitely want to see that, then for how long? Like a month back, 2 months, 3 months? I think 3 months is about the maximum. You don't need like a year or anything like that. Okay, I've sent my apartment to the BBC, so I'm hoping something comes of that. Okay, so yeah, 3 months is fine, Jeff. That's good, man. So again, let's have a little think here. And I spoke to we had a great course on the weekend, and we spoke a lot about mindset as well. It needs your shoulder. And if I were to say back to you, as somebody who trains people and somebody who mentors people and somebody who tries to keep you off your fucking ass and moving and grooving and making business, if I were to say to you, right, this is day one of your life in service accommodation, and I really hope you make it. I hope so. We try and forget the word hope. hope is just like, hope is when you buy a lotto ticket. Well, I hope I win. Buying a lotto ticket, the odds are so far against you that it's kind of, you may as well hope, because it's really down to sheer luck. Even if you buy 1 million tickets, it's down to, you may not win anything. You may buy 10 million tickets and not win anything. So that's where hope should stay, out there in Hope Land. What we do as business owners, we make shit happen. That's what we do. The good thing is that you've sent it out to the company is great. Now you should have a plan on follow-up. Now what? Because hope won't get you anywhere. You need to go looking, go knocking, go hammering. Speaking to Julia, and Nigel speaking to Julia, there's a lady who runs 5 or 6 properties down near Brighton. She doesn't advertise on Booking. She doesn't advertise on any of the channels. None of them. Airbnb, nothing. She has 3 customers, corporate customers in the area, one of which was, I can't remember the name of the company now, but big companies. Rolls-Royce is one of them. And they just basically fill her property up throughout the year. Now, she could make a lot more money if she wanted to, if she were also to go on booking.com and that type of thing, but she's kind of comfortable with that. I'm not sure what's happening. I think she's sick or something like that, or she just doesn't know how to run the businesses. I really don't know. So you can get a lot from corporate housing as well. Remember, corporate housing is another form of service accommodation. You've got service apartments, apart hotels, corporate housing, etc., and obviously serviced houses. So just make sure that you don't hope, you make it happen. And you've heard the rich man mindset is they're always looking for opportunity, and they see opportunity, they take the opportunity and they make that shit happen. If they don't make it happen, like the rich man puts the poor man puts the money in, and then the poor man goes, oh, I hope I get a return. I hope it works. I hope it works. They sit back for the next 2 or 3 months and they're like, nothing happened. Why didn't it happen? What did you do? Well, I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything? You put in like 10 grand into something, you didn't do anything? You didn't even like ask one question? No, just hoped it would work. That's poor man philosophy, and that's why poor man gets poorer. The rich man will invest in something that they've researched, but then also make sure that shit's going to happen. They will make sure it happens. I mean, I wouldn't have anyone sitting on here if I just sat back in my lounge room and watched DVDs all day or box sets or TV. No one would ever hear about it. People have got to hear about you, hear about your product before they would even entertain thinking about you. You know, there's Xperia, as we've spoken before. Xperia, go on there, get a list, do a marketing campaign. MailChimp is free. Yeah, and it's automated. Once you set up, remember the rocket ship, fill it full of fuel, let it go. And once it's up there and it's rolling, all you need if you had a list of 200, all you need is one booking of £1,000, £2,000, or whatever it might be, and it's taken care of the time and effort that you've put in. And if you can get 1, you know you can get 2. If you can get 2, you know you can get 4. If you can get 4, you can get 8. If you can get 8, you can get 16, and so on. It grows exponentially. The hardest one is going to be your first in anything you do. Anything you do. You look at these guys on the F1. They're driving their cars for the first time. Hartley, whatever his name is. You can see he says, oh, you know, I need more track time. And then the second race he comes out, fair enough, his car blew up or whatever. But the second time he comes out, he's qualifying like in the top 15 against drivers who have years of experience. But, you know, and what's his name? Verstappen, you know, very young, still like 20 or 21 years old or something. And yet he's won three F1s against the so-called greatest drivers in the world. And the look on his face on the weekend when he won, he's like, yeah, I want to go. And he's a young guy with passion. And he's not going to do what everyone tells him to do. So he said, right, they said, right, you can slow down now. You're so way ahead. And bullshit. And he radios over. Is that the fastest lap of the race? Yes, Max. And he like giggled at, oh, great. because he's so passionate about making a name for himself and making something work and building a legacy. And that's what we should be about. You know, when I talk about my kids, I don't talk about my kids to say, oh, thank my kids. It's more about me building a legacy for them and helping them also be educated in business or whatever it is, and within school. That's why I go to school. And then they can then grow into the type of person that helps them to educate others. Life is all about passing stuff on. If you don't believe that, look at the caveman. The caveman gets in there, chops up his bloody wood. His kids, his son or what, they watch. They start to do it. You look at the natural world. Monkeys or chimpanzees who stick a bloody straw in a piece of wood, a piece of stick, and pull out ants, start eating them. Then the others, they watch them do it. It's how you evolve. And if you want others to evolve from you personally, you've got to show them what to do and show them how to do these things so that they learn. That's what university is all about. University, all you do, people think, oh, uni, it's so hard. Fuck me. How do I remember all this shit? All you're doing is you look at one person up front, pretty much like when you come to our courses, you watch me, and all I'm doing is giving you all the shit that's in my head and going, there it is. Learn it. Your test at the end of it is a practical test. Your practical test is to go out and use the information, the strategy that I've given you. You take action and execute that information, and then the results are your success. If you do not listen in the class, or you don't do what you're told to do, or you divert and think you can know better, that's when you fuck up. Or, number one, you just can't be bothered because you were there thinking, I hope something will come from this. It's all mindset. University, you just go there, get everyone else's information, and then from there, what they do is they test you on the information that they've given you over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever, however long it is you're at uni. And depending on how much you've put into it, how much action you've taken to study, will depend on the results that you get. That's it. Some people, yeah, oh, they're gifted, they're gifted. I tell you what, even the gifted people, the so-called gifted people, they're not out there running around. They're here studying, because they're passionate about it. They love it. You know, gift. Are you gifted at something? I don't know. Everyone says Ronaldo's gifted at football. He ain't gifted. He said, I'm the guy who works the hardest. I work the hardest. And his words were, I am not a Messi. But he is now one Ballon d'Or, where it is, behind Messi. And he's tipped to win it this year, so he will match. And that's a guy who says to himself, call him arrogant, whatever, but that's a guy who says to himself, I'm not the greatest footballer. David Beckham was not the greatest footballer in the world. Now he gets paid more money than he did when he bloody played football. So, don't hope. Do. Ashley, when can we book for a day out for SA? Next week we can do. Jennifer, send me some dates. I can tell you what dates we won't be able to do. Let me have a quick look. Okay, so wow, man, Wednesday we are October. No, Thursday we are November. So I was right. Okay, Friday I have a visitor coming, Priya. At 1 p.m. I believe. Cool. So let's have a quick look. Just let me go through my diary and make sure that they're. So if we can do, perhaps we could do Tuesday the 7th, Jennifer. Send me a diary invite, please. Okay, so good. Are we? Thursday. Cool. So yeah, let me know that. Any other questions? I want to look for more essays, but should I be looking to take it on in January? Now, You can take it on in January because it will be ready for February if you like. Yeah, okay, good. So January is only a quiet month. It's not a dead month. In January, you still get bookings. I mean, we've got a booking today. We had a lady who has... We don't allow pets in our properties. But because it's in our big property, I've asked her for 25 quid more just to clean it up. But it's like a £1,200 booking, and it's in one of our big houses, and it has a garden. It's got short hair, and it doesn't bark apparently. And that's January. So cool. And yeah, as Nigel says, depends on where you are in your market. So if you're in the right place, you're going to be okay. Okay, so Wednesday. Yeah, that'll be okay, Harvey. It'll need to be like probably 10 o'clock, starting 10 o'clock. Oh, you want 1:30? Can we do earlier? 1:30 is a bit of a shit time for me. We can do earlier, that'd be great. Okay. Any other questions? Tony came to another refresher again on Saturday, and it was good to hear that. I think his words were, "This is awesome. It's great motivation." Ben and Nick, hopefully you've got a deal together coming soon. I know you got fucking 7 viewings this week, so that's good. Awesome stuff. Tim doing well. Tim, you've got a target. I think maybe 1 or 2 more in the next 2 weeks. So work it hard, buddy. We like to hit goals, remember? Targets. If you want me to set you targets, guys, I will set you targets all day, every day. But you must strive to achieve them. And what targets does, well done. Good one, Ben. What targets do for you, it keeps you motivated. It keeps you disciplined on the daily things that you need to be doing. I set myself targets all the time. If I didn't, I'd sit on my ass. I set myself goals. And then I pick up a photo of my kids and my wife. Now I've got to do something. Cool. I know what it's like. Don't worry. If someone says, oh, you don't know. Someone just said, you don't know what it's like. You're successful. That's bullshit. I'm successful to a certain level. I plan to be a lot more successful. But I don't get this by sitting on my ass. Okay, I'm picking up the keys later today Well done, Ben. Excellent. So Ben's picked up a deal. Well done, buddy. Awesome stuff. So we've got Harvey. I don't know what you mean by that. What are you relating to? Accountability partners. I don't know. And let me know what it is you actually want to talk about on Wednesday. That'll be good. Confirmed Thursday, Friday. You got a guest checking in tomorrow. Well done, buddy boy. Great success. I love success stories. And again, if I said to Ben, oh, but it's easy for you, it comes easy, he'd be offended. He'd be like, fucking what? I'm working 10, 11 hours a day on this. What's going on? If I said that to Jeff, oh, it's easy for you, he'd be like, fucking what? You think I sit here all day doing nothing? Same with Jennifer, Priya, Tim. If I said to you guys it comes easy, bullshit. You don't sit on your ass all day. Okay. Of course. Harvey, let me know what you mean by that, buddy. So we have no other questions. So I'll give you 2 minutes to bring it in. You're obviously still adjusting, except for Ben, except for Tim, except for Tony, except for Nick, except for Nigel, except for Priya. Actually, you're probably not adjusting. You're just knackered from putting in so much time. Good, and the results are coming. So Harvey, let me know what you mean by that, mate. So it sounds like the koala's got another deal, which is great. That now adds another, I think it's another 36K to his income. Pretty freaking good. For him now, I think it's going to be over, he'll be touching on 75 grand a year now income. Excellent. Alexa's working really well, and that's another thing on Simon's review, is that Alexa was fantastic to use, and we've had that about technology. They love the technology. My freaking Alexa just went off because it heard me say Alexa. And I have to give credit where credit's due. That is down to the old mate Tony, Anthony Leslie. Bought that to me and we tested it and we get reviews on it and we love it, and you guys are getting reviews on it. Is absolutely awesome. So thank you, Tony. See, we learn as well. Yeah, it will play anything you want, Priya. Be careful what you ask for. Okay, good. Okay, so I know nobody here on this group at the moment is actually working the Manchester area. But if anybody is interested in, so the Birmingham JVs we've taken care of. Now we're looking to Manchester. If anyone wants to JV, put money into Manchester. I have a student on the ground there. Okay, so Nigel is interested, but we're not looking at a block of 79. Yeah, you don't want a block of 79. I think that you should be looking at a maximum probably 15 to 20 in a block. Okay, so good. So Nick, Ben, and Nigel, you should all talk to each other about Manchester. Good. Okay, so Martina has an apartment in Manchester that they want to SA. So Nick, go onto the group and look for Martina, the private group, and touch base. There you go. So Martina, please speak to Nick, and you can go from there. See how your network becomes your net worth. Fantastic, isn't it? And that's a win-win on both sides. Yabba dabba do. And see how this all comes so easy, because all you have to do is open your big choppers and ask. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to all the big thanks they just got in there. So good. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to get my big fat bottom out of the chair, go to the gym, get revitalized, and then I have quite a few people to talk to today following the course on Saturday. But I'm quite happy to answer any questions, guys. Also, send me an email or WhatsApp me, whatever, however you communicate with me, and let me know what training you would like. Give me 2 or 3 different subjects that you get stuck on, or you want to refresh on, or something like that. It can be the very basics, it can be advanced, it can be intermediate, whatever you want. Send it to me, and then from there I'll set up training programs. So the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes of the next calls will be training sessions, and we'll go from there. To give you an idea as well, me putting myself out there, I get offered just for rent service accommodation, personally myself, probably about anywhere between 100 and 150 grand a week, people coming forward offering me money. When I speak to them, I have a template that now I send them, and why do they want to be part of this? Because I need to screen them, because there's so many dickheads out there, I tell you, who have money and they don't know what to do with it, but they're requesting such pathetic, they're asking me to take 20% and they take 80%. Cool. We do all the work. I don't think so, buddy boys. So marketing. Okay, we'll do one on marketing. Good. Marketing could be good for everyone because it's something that's ongoing. So we could do marketing. Cool. Good. And if you're out there and you're talking to agents, and at first you were like, hey, it's working really well, and now it seems to have dropped off, can I suggest that this may be down to you getting complacent, get a bit cocky, and shortcutting the whole process of what you say to the agents. And it can happen. It's a natural thing. Like, oh, hi, here going, this is what we do, and blah, blah, and you're excited about it. And then 20 agents later, yeah, hi, here you going. Yeah, look, we just want properties for service accommodation. Then they're just going to be like, well, if you can't be bothered, I can't be bothered, because the attitude is going to ring through. Remember, you must have your physiology. Be alert, be ready, be confident. You must have your focus, what it is that you're going in there to try to achieve. And you must remember your language, your patterns, your tone. We did an example of this on Saturday. So I'll use the same 2 words. And that could be, and I did it with Tony. I thought Tony was going to give me a bit of a shock. And I could come up to you and I could say, oh, go away. Go on, mate, go away. Or I could say, go away. Or I could be like, go away. You can see that those exact same words said in exactly the same order can mean something so different. So just remember this when you're with agents. It is about all of you, not just your words. It's about all of you and how you present yourself. Not talking like you have to go and wear a suit. I mean, how you present yourself, your physiology, and the words that you use and how you use them, and the tone in which you use them. You know, if I went up to my wife and she said, if I said to her, I love you, or I said, yeah, I love you. Yeah, oh, I love you, or I love you. Which one is she going to believe? Probably just one of them. And all the others are like, well, if you can't be bothered saying it, don't say it at all. Precisely. So please, if you're out there, you're hitting the streets, and I know those of you out there hitting the streets, and I know that you're not being complacent, but I'm giving you a heads up that please don't get complacent. And because the agents still know as much about you before you go in there, no matter who they are. You know, the ones that you're building relationships with, make sure you don't get complacent with them either. You know, this is professional. Be friends with them, but don't be their friend, if you understand what I mean by that. Because there are decisions. You still need to be able to say no or yes sometimes, or no. But use the third party. So it's not you who's rejecting them or the property. It's me. Use me as a third party. I'm happy to be the third party in anything that you do. Okay. So love to all. I'm signing off. Have a good week, a successful week. As Nigel said in his presentation, and you can watch it now, if you're interested in watching it, which I hope you are. It's only 30 minutes long. And let's find him. Here we go. I'll put that into here. And thank you, Nigel, for sharing your story. It was great and went down a treat with everyone. That's for sure. So watch that on YouTube. Now, out of all of you on here, Mr. Tim Dix, Mr. Harvey Singh, Mr. Ben Watson, Martina, Jennifer, I'm going to be requesting, and Priya, that we do the same thing as we did with Nigel. Now, if you can't make it to come and present, what this does is it raises your profile too for raising funds. Nigel's got countless calls coming through, contacts, should I say, for offering to fund him. So, and it's quite simple. I'm going to put together about 7 or 8 questions. I can interview you on a webinar. It can be just you and I. It doesn't matter. And I will use it out there in the big bad world. So if you don't want that to happen, then that's fine. I won't take offense. Nigel's just said you will love it. Good. So yeah, I set up a webinar. You'll be on. You've seen the webinar that I did with Nigel. We can do a live webinar. If you're a bit shit scared about doing that, no problem. We can just do another webinar, and then we'll invite other people to it. So we'll do what they call an evergreen webinar. So I don't have a problem with that. So good. Thank you all very much. Have a fantastic week, and I'll sign off now. So great success to all. Bye.